So now I want to discuss what is probably the most crucial concept in programming generally, not just in C#. That's the concept of variables. If you want to display the player health or the player's score, if you want to keep track of the amount of ammo left in the player's weapon, if you need to keep track of the player name, or you need to display information that can change, then you need to use variables. Variables are the way that computer programs remember data, and we're going to be taking a look at them here. What I have in front of me is a basic mock project. It's a prototype application. This is the kind of application that programmers create when they want to test out ideas without spending a lot of time creating elaborate assets. So these basic primitives stand in for game objects. So I have this sphere. This is going to represent the player, and the cube here is going to represent the enemy. And now when I press the space bar on the keyboard, the sphere begins to shoot ammunition at this box object. Let's say that I want the player to have a limited amount of ammo in their weapon. Right now I can press spacebar as many times as I want and fire as many shots as I like. Let's say I want to limit this and give the player a limited amount of ammunition. Well, we can use a variable to do that. So I'm going to jump into this player controller script here. This is the script file that we have attached to the player. If I select the player object, you can see in the object inspector we have this player control script, and this is what allows us to fire this ammunition. So I'm going to be opening up this script in MonoDevelop and controlling how much ammo the player can fire using variables. So let's double click on the player control script to open that in MonoDevelop, and you can see we have a range of scripted lines here. Just ignore most of these lines for right now because I've added this code off screen just so that the sphere can shoot ammunition at our cube. We're just concerned here with variables. Now we already actually have one variable, which is this one here, but we're going to insert a new variable and see just how they work. So we want to limit the amount of ammunition the player has. Let's say we want to give the player 10 rounds of ammunition or 10 bullets in their ammunition. So we can do that by creating a new variable. We'll type public int and ammo, and it will equal 10. Now what I'm doing here is I'm creating a new variable. Let's just ignore public for the moment. I'm creating a new variable and I call it int. I'm going to be storing an integer value. That is a non-decimal number. So a number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are all integers. I'm going to be keeping track of integer data. I'm going to give it a name, and I can give it absolutely any name that I like. I could call this dog or cat, but we usually give them meaningful names so that we know what we're talking about. So I'm going to be keeping track of the player ammo, and I'm going to be giving them a starting amount of 10, that is 10 bullets. And I'm going to press Ctrl S on the keyboard and just minimize this script file. This will compile away and we have no errors. You can see that because the console is completely empty. Now if I select the player object here in the hierarchy panel and take a look at our script file, you can see that Unity has detected the new variable and it displays it here in the object inspector. We have ammo and 10. We give the player 10 bullets in their ammunition. Now of course if I play this game and I begin to fire these bullets, you can see in the object inspector that the value of the ammo still remains at 10. It doesn't reduce in any way. The ammo is not subtracted as we fire it. So we're going to be looking at how to control that now. The one last thing I just do want to mention before we move on is that the reason we see this ammo variable in the object inspector, if I just return back to the script, is because we have prefixed the variable statement, which is this here, with the word public. Public will display our variable in the object inspector. I'm going to delete the word public, press Ctrl S and minimize MonoDevelop. Our code is recompiled and now ammo is no longer visible in the object inspector. We cannot see the variable ammo at all, and that is because we removed the public statement. So I'm going to go back to MonoDevelop. I'm going to undo my changes to return public, press Ctrl S, minimize mono develop, and now public is added to the variable so we can see the variable now in the object inspector. So next, let's take a look at how we can limit the ammunition, how we can reduce the amount of ammo when the player fires the weapon.